Yo, Rana, and welcome to FM Tahiti. Hope you're all doing well. Bit of a change of pace for this video, so I'm just going to cover a different database I made because what I'm going to be doing, so by the time this goes up, hopefully I've sorted it out, on the blog there'll be a link to a couple of save files from the Tahiti game I've been playing, so they'll all be from the very start. It's just me loading it up, saving it, going back, loading up another one, saving it. So you've got, three different versions essentially of the randomly kind of generated aspect of it. So if you want, you can use one of those saves and have a go at playing in Tahiti if you want. There was a request in the comments, and I've had requests in the past as well about releasing the database. I said I'd do it when I was kind of ready to, when I'd sort of achieved certain things. And now I'm kind of 8 or 9 seasons into the actual game, and I've won the OCL and won a couple of titles and things like that. I'm happy to kind of share the saves, so that someone else can have a go as well. I've not released the database just because I'm still playing, and I use it. I always use it as a kind of template for the next version. So what I'll probably do is once I've got the version for FM20 sorted out, I'll then release the one from this. So I'll just kind of always like a rolling back date, and then if you want to, I'll show you how you can update this older one for FM20. I'll probably do a small editor series as well, so you can see how I did it and how to change it. So yeah, the database for the Tahiti, the French Polynesia one won't be up, but there'll be 3 saves for you to have a go at. You just start from there, you just load it up like you would a normal save. So that should be on the blog now, or by tomorrow at the very latest when this video comes out. But what I've also put up, and this I will put up the database for this if you want to, is a Maldives one. So basically I created the Tahiti one because it was one me and my brother essentially created together years ago, or he created the very first version I should probably say, and then I've edited it every year since. And it was just based on the fact that he'd seen some pictures of French Polynesia and Tahiti and liked the sound of it, so he created a save and a kind of universe around that. But what I did is I went on holiday once, just the once, to the Maldives. So it's actually for my honeymoon. I kind of delayed honeymoon, I had to save up for a bit to go there. And we went to an island in the Maldives, and it was amazing. Absolutely amazing. Apparently French Polynesia is even better, but the Maldives was good enough for me. So based on that, I decided I'd make a kind of a save for this, a sort of universe for this as well. And I did it all the way back in FM17, but never quite finished it. And to be honest, this one isn't completely finished either. But it's good enough to sort of release and see if someone else wants to play around with it. It's got a very kind of similar vibe to the Tahiti one. So the Maldives, if you're not aware, is basically a series of islands in the Indian Ocean, or just off the Indian Ocean. So it's kind of south west of Sri Lanka, middle of the ocean there. So it's kind of off the east coast of Africa. Off the east coast of Africa? Ignore that bit, that might be wrong, but it's definitely south of Sri Lanka. And again, it's a kind of series of islands, of atolls. So it's very similar in that sense to Polynesia. It's just the scale of it's not quite the same. And it's based continent-wise in Asia, rather than in Oceania, which is where French Polynesia is mainly based. So we've got a similar setup. We've got the Atoll Premier, the Atoll First Division, and the Atoll Second Division. You've got 3 divisions here. So you've got things like the Idafushi eagle rays, the flying foxes. Flying foxes are a type of bat. Got her ghost crabs, canoe thatchers, because this island's got lots of thatched, or used to. Lonnie leatherbacks, type of turtles, manta rays, Neferu islanders, Nitahu herons, so on. You've got a range of, they've got similar names to the kind of naming style I've gone for French Polynesia. You notice it's actually got, because I've not taken the graphics pack off, it's tried to insert the graphics. So it's got the Tahiti graphics in here, which is obviously when you download the database you won't have. If we look at the First Division, you've got the things like the Adu Anemones, Khaki Sea Turtles, Malay Monarchs. So Malay is the capital, it's the main island. So you've got the Monarchs, which are the kind of traditional team. You've got the Rebels, which are the kind of the underdog team. You've got the Miru Hermit Crabs. So the Miru was the island I went to, and it was amazing. The Vilihangi whale sharks, because the Maldives gets quite a lot of whale sharks visiting. And then you go down here, you've got, again, smaller teams. And you've got some with restrictions. So, for example, the Adu Academy can only buy players under 21. A lot of them, if you've got another Malay team, you've got one that the resorts exiles based on all the resort teams, because lots of resort football teams there. You've got the Laccadive Starlets, again, they can only under 21 players. You've got Thinadoo Triggerfish. Triggerfish are really aggressive reef fish that will dive at you. And if you're really unlucky, they'll dive at you when you're in the way, and your wife will push you in front of them and try and save herself. True story. So there we go. I'll just pick a team. I'm going to pick the hermit crabs. One thing you might notice as I've gone through is some are professional, some are semi-professional. None of them have a stadium. This is the only thing I've not actually included, really. In this one, I've not gone through and made them all a stadium. So what happens is when you play it, is eventually, once you get a certain amount of success, teams start to build their own stadiums. So let's say there's that. We saw some of my save games. I've got an offline save game where I'm unemployed between jobs. So here we go. The hermit crabs. Let's have a look at the club overview. As you can see, basic facilities, basic use, finances are kind of, I've got about 50 grand in the bank. Just trying to put all logos from the other thing in there. Got the rivalries set up. There's no players currently because I didn't tell the game to set up with any players, but the standard's not great. It's very much like sort of French Polynesia. But if we look at the competitions, so you've got the Atoll Premiership here. Top 2 teams qualify for the Asian Confederates Cup. Third qualifies for the preliminary, and the fourth for the playoff. So the Asian Confederate Cup is basically the Europa League version. You've got the Champions League and you've got the Confederate Cup. And because of the dynamic rep and the coefficients, it's possible that if this league gains enough reputation, that you would get a place into the Asian Champions League. So if you want to have a go at that, you can do. So you've got the Atoll Premiership there. I think it's 2 games everyone plays. You've got 28 games in there. Let's go down. Got the Atoll FA Cup. Got the Donny Super Cup, which is like just the FA Cup against the title winner. And then you've got the under-23s. There's no other kind of regional cups for this one because there's not the same kind of spread of islands for this. So all fairly straightforward. Just ignore these graphics here because you won't have them. Everything's set up for them apart from the stadiums. So if you're interested in playing something a bit like the Tahiti one, but maybe not in Tahiti, maybe you want to play in Asia, then give this a go. The benefit to it being in Asia, so there's a pros and cons things. The pros is it's new, it's fresh, you can have a go at this, the database will be up there and you can make whatever edits to it you want. I don't mind. Just if you do make any videos, any blogs, just send a link back to me so people know who made it originally. You can make the changes. If you want to go in and put all the stadiums in, you can do. It'll take you about an hour to do that if you want to. It's so you've got that pro there, we can make change, you've got the database, you can load it up and add players and things like that, that's fine. The other thing that's kind of a bonus, so it's probably a bit better in some ways than the Tahiti one that I've been playing, is that because you can get into the Asian Champions League, there's much more money to be had, and there's much more competition to be had. So you've got two continental competitions: the Champions League and the Confederates Cup that you can take part in. So that's two potential areas for glory, two trophies rather than the one. It's a much bigger system, especially the Champions League system. It's much more competitive. You're potentially, if you look at the competition reputation, I've not been up long, you can probably tell. So right at the top you've got China, you've got Qatar, you've got UAE, you've got Japan, you've got Iran, you've got Saudi, Thailand, Uzbekistan, Iraq, Syria, and I'm going to try and say that, Bahrain, Jordan, Indonesia, Korea. You've got Hong Kong, Malaysia, and things like that. You've got a lot of sort of fairly strong Asian leagues. So China, Japan, Korea, Qatar, UAE, Saudi. They're all pretty strong. There'll be some good teams in there that you will not easily beat, not from the first kind of off. And the leagues with a lot of money in as well, but it also means you can potentially bring in their kind of dregs, their cast-offs as well. There's also India as well, I forgot, which is quite a big country. You've got some potential in there as well. So you've got that kind of climb, and you can see the kind of qualification places. So it's just down here, but I think there's a potential for you to try and get into these ranks up here and get some of these places. So if you get up to say 23rd, then you can start getting into here. And I'm not sure what happens to the Confederate Cup winner either. I don't know if it's like the Europa League, where if you win the Europa League you get a place in the next year's Champions League. I don't know if it's quite like that, but there's a lot more there to do, so that's why it's probably a bit stronger. The weaker bits are that, well, I've not filled out the stadiums, I've not tested it for as many years. So what I did with the Tahiti one is, before I started recording the save, with the final sort of version, I did it with all the versions really, but with the very final version, I tested it up to 100 years, just so I know that it wouldn't get to like 23 years in or something ridiculous like that, and then it would suddenly stop and break because there was an error in the database. And I made sure it was reasonably likely you're going to get one of those things where the competition doesn't load its fixtures for a year and things. So I tested that for say 100 in-game years. I've not done that with this. I've only tested it for maybe about 10, I think. So it's at your own risk. If you want to use it, that's fine. I can only guarantee it for a season or two unless you test it yourself. But that'll be up there as well for you. So I'll stop there. It's just I'm going to record a few more videos today, so there's plenty more videos coming up with the Totengeki wings, but I just thought I'd talk a little bit about the database stuff, because it's that time of year where people are trying out new stuff. Maybe they've ended a save, they're just waiting for FM20 to come out. Personally, I'm loving all of my saves. The Tahiti one, I've got one I mentioned where I was unemployed, where I've bounced around the UK. So I started off in the lower leagues of England, didn't do very well. Went to Northern Ireland, did quite well, but then got sacked, so not that well. Went to Ireland, did quite well. Tried to move back to the UK, back to England, did not do well. Moved to Scotland, got East Fife up to the Championship from League 2. Then moved to Wales, got Bangor into Europe. Then moved back to Scotland, took Stranraer all the way up from League 2 into the Premiership. And then my Stranraer team was too weak, and now I'm unemployed, looking for somewhere else. I jumped before I was pushed because we were bottom of the league. So I've really enjoyed that one, and I've really enjoyed the Tahiti one, obviously. So I'm not ready for FM20 at all. I've got a good couple of months left in me of fairly solid and happy playing, but I thought I'd put this out there for anyone who might be interested. So as always, thanks for watching, thanks for liking, thanks for subscribing and all that stuff. Come and talk to me on Twitter if you want to. Drop me a message there or comment here. If you've got any questions about this kind of stuff, let me know. And also, if there's any kind of video you'd like me to do, let me know. If you want me to do some sort of editor series, let me know and I can do that. And also, as a quick plug, you might be familiar with it already, but there's a site called Dictate the Game. So that's Dictate the Game. It's a group of writers, and they blog and put up a piece every Monday, Wednesday and Friday normally, and they do a podcast that's released on a Sunday, and I do a bit of writing for them now, and I was on the last podcast, so drop by and have a look at some of the information on there as well. It might give you some ideas for FM20 or just be useful for some of the tactical stuff on there as well. Thanks very much.